to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Bunting,
Present.
Campbell,
Here.
Dempsey,
Here.
Hill,
Here.
Menser,
Here. Does anybody know about Commissioner Raker?
Commissioner Raker sent a text message that he was being held up in Detroit and wouldn't be able to make it tonight.
So I need a motion to excuse Commissioner Raker.
Motion to excuse Commissioner Raker.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Roll call, please.
Bunting,
Yes.
Campbell, Campbell,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Announcements, acknowledgements, and communications of reports. Do we have any this evening? Okay, adoption of the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
Roll call.
Campbell,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Bunting.
Yes.
Okay, public participation. This is the time that you may address this body. All we ask is that you give us your name, residential address, and that you adhere to our 3-minute rule. So please come forth to the mic.
Laura Fournier, 70 Ludwig Street, on Clemens. As I've said before, I'm grateful for anything that's done about the sidewalks, but unfortunately, the way this program is being handled is going to only create more problems. I am very familiar with the white X's that mean that the sidewalk needs to be replaced, that particular flag. Unfortunately, when you look at where some of those X's are, 2 houses down from there, there's another flag that's a problem. So if there was ever selective ordinance application, this is it. This problem is huge. I understand that it could possibly, if you have knowledge of it, affect your insurance, including the insurance of the city. There are handicap issues all over the curbs in the city. This is a real problem that needs to be addressed, not Band-Aided. Secondly, there's an empty house at the corner of Robertson and northbound Gratiot. It's tan with brown trim. I believe a church owns it, and I know they have contacted someone to take it down. Unfortunately, they can't afford it, I'm pretty sure. I would like to see something done. Maybe we all here ante up a little bit of money to help get that building down, if it is indeed owned by a church. And I've asked someone to check into that, though I'm pretty confident that it has been. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Loretta Siplin. I used to live at 14 Gratiot Court. Now I live in Clinton Township at 22534 Casman Street because I had to leave my home in Mount Clemens. On the 3rd of September, my basement flooded again. On my job at Selfridge, I worked an hour and a half because we had heavy rainfalls and we had flooding in some of the buildings, roof leak. Then I went to take a look at my house and the basement flooded. I had an idea it had flooded. I talked to Gabby and Lansing. Really, I called Blair Sealover and Grand Rapids at F&V Operation and Resource Manage. And I talked to a lady by the name of Gabby about my basement flooding. So she said that I told her I would be off the following week in September so they can come out and check my basement and see why I'm still having problems with flooding. Well, John Dobson and another gentleman came out. I can't remember his name, but they checked my out cleaner in the front of the house. It was fine. They came inside, they checked 2 of my backflow preventers. One of them, I had told them when I cleaned it out, I didn't leave it that way, it was full of water, and I have pictures of it. So they think maybe they believe that one of them is too high or too low. Then they went outside and they checked my outlet for my sump pump to see if that may be a problem. But I have a meeting. I'm going to have a meeting to set up with Mr. Reuter, John Dobson, myself, and anyone else who wants to come, so we can check these 2 back floor preventers and see why I keep getting water in one of them. I have a value protection plan with Mr. Reuter, which is lifetime. It cost me $3,000 to have those 2 back floor preventers put in. And the value protection plan cost me $289, supposed to be lifetime. So, if that's the problem, I feel that they should fix it. So I don't have to keep cleaning my house, my basement house, and I don't live there 2 to 3 times a year. And I also feel that the city of Mount Clemens should investigate some of the flooding areas, because I feel there is a problem, not just for the homeowners, but for the city. Because I noticed the weekend, not on my street, but on Euclid Street, there was a water main break. There was water in the street on Saturday and water in the street on Sunday. And Sunday, that water was just bubbling up right at the corner, almost at the corner of Gratiot and Euclid. And I noticed today, when I went by there, no water in the street.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Laura Kropp. I live at 15 Bellevue. I have called the sheriff's office on a pretty regular basis to patrol the area between, I would say, Buland and southbound Gratiot on Bellevue, because people believe that they are on Gratiot already. And so they are doing at least 35 to 40 miles an hour. And that's being very conservative, I think, in my estimations. And so there are 10 children that live between my house and 3 neighbors' houses. There are 10 children under the age of 12. And someone is going to get hit by one of these speeding cars. I have repeatedly asked for patrols, and I'm home during the day and in the evening. And, you know, we get that they're on Church and that they're on Robertson and that they're in our neighborhood. I understand that. But this is a huge problem, and someone is going to get hit by a car. And it's going to be a child, and we do not obviously want that to happen. My child, your child, anyone's. We have asked for one of those mobile units that is a radar, and the only response was, oh, that'll just encourage them to go quicker. Well, maybe we could try a solution instead of just justifying why people can speed down my street that is 25 miles an hour. There are 10 children in that neighborhood within 3 houses. Someone is going to get killed. So please, if you have any pull, please call the sheriff's office for me and maybe have that happen, because I have tried and tried and tried, and I don't know what else to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gloria Haller, 260 Cass. First of all, so I can get it out of the way, a couple meetings ago, I noticed that, I didn't know at that time that Denise was a mayoral candidate, but she did give like a pedigree. Her dad worked for the county and her brother and so forth, and I wondered what it was about, and then I realized that's a Fred Miller campaign tactic, so I thought I'd give my pedigree, and then you can give yours. How's that? Let's see, my great-great-grandfather was from the Michigan 4th Cavalry, Company G. That was Thomas Haller from Germany originally. Then my grandfather, if you're seeing the picture of the Pagoda Band with the big drum and the guy standing there, that's my grandfather. He also was a founding member of the Old Crowd, and he was the Mount Clemens treasurer for a period. My father was with Macomb County. He has had a surplus foods, what they now would call food stamps and food assistance, for about 10 years. And my uncle was known as Hatchet Haller, and he was the county probation officer, and if you messed up your probation with him, yeah, I guess the axe fell. So anyway, that's my pedigree. I have a few others, but I thought that I would mention those since I've decided in the interim I'm running as a write-in candidate for mayor. Just a little card so people know how to spell my name, and then we can take care of it. The other reason I want to run for write-in for mayor is these things they're talking about. We need tax money. I have broached and broached and broached and approached and reapproached the issue of a county, city income tax. We need to tax that county payroll. They're freeloaders. They're here. They come here. They work. They go somewhere else to live. They never pay. You need to tax that payroll. 0.5% of a $33.6 million payroll, that would help us a lot. And when you do tax that payroll, what you will get is you will have funds then that you can hire deputies, that you can take care of this tragedy about to happen. You can take care of the sidewalks for Miss Fournier. And for God's sake, if it ever comes up again that money is available under CBDG, don't give it to a rich man in a rich school. That 1.6 million, I'm digging up the papers on again, that 1.6 million that was given to Anton for Oakland University, no excuse for that. He's wealthy, he should fix his own building. Oakland's just got a $20 million endowment. They can fix their own building. They take the 1.6 million that belonged to the poor in Mount Clemens. What's with that? So we need a city income tax, and that's pretty much my plank and my platform for running. So, but meantime, do try to get us some kind of a pedigree. We could use that.
Thank you.
I'd like to remind the audience that the commission is aware of it. We've sent out memos on prior occasions. Public resources cannot be utilized to advance any particular candidate or proposal on the ballot. And the cable is a public resource. So you're not supposed to politic on the cable station.
She does it all the time.
Well,
thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Jimmy Dixon, and I live on 94 Park in Mount Clemens. I have a big tree in the front of my house. It have uprooted my concrete there, about 3 inches up. And somebody's gonna get hurt. I don't know if it's my job or the city job or whatever, but it needs to be fixed. And that's what I have.
Could you let the city manager know a phone number he can reach you at if you'd like to just come
you
in
just, yeah.
and tell you, because then he can contact you. Is there anyone else? Were you done? I'm sorry, I didn't want to.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Danielle Tierpkoff, 54 Dorothea. About what was being talked about just this evening about people driving slow. On Dorothea, it says, there's one of those signs that say children in the area, and people just whiz down the street where I live on Dorothea, Leonore, and Madison. And I'm concerned about that too, because even though there isn't a lot of little kids on my street, there's a lot of them who play in the Dorothea Street Park. And I would hate to hear that if that happened so close to home or anywhere else, that a horrible tragedy has happened. And I hope that the sheriff's deputies are being very observant to this, because I know how some kids are. You're supposed to look both ways when you're across the street. A very small child might just run out. And I always make sure I drive slow, well, not really fast according to the speed limits, but I slow down when I see anybody, not only a child, but a person of any age going across the street. And I've been doing that for a long time. And I just hope something is done about it and it's changed before there's a serious and irreversible accident.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Michelle Weiss, 18200 Terra Drive, Clinton Township. I just wanted to let the residents remind them of our Oktoberfest that's this weekend, starting on Friday. Friday evening, we'll have a euchre tournament sponsored by the Mount Clemens Lions Club. Registration will be at 6 o'clock, and the euchre tournament starts at 7. There will be cash prizes. The Polish Muslims will be the band that will be playing that night. Saturday, we go from 2 o'clock until 11 p.m., and we have the Big Daddy Lakowski and the Immigrant Sons for our entertainment, as well as family activities. On Sunday, we'll be open from noon until 6. We have the Eric Neubauer Band playing, and again, the family activities. So please enjoy the weekend. We're going to have beautiful weather. Please come out and enjoy this event. I would also like to remind the citizens that on October 11th from noon to 4, the Mount Clemens Fire Department will have their open house. They're going to have hot dogs, popcorn, cider donuts. They're going to have fire equipment demonstrations. They'll have a helicopter on site, stand the magical fireman train rides, Roscoe the Clown, dunk tank, cake walk, and raffle, and they'll also do pumpkin carving. So the family should come down at noon until 4 and enjoy that event as well on October 11th. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Dolores Kusiniak, 250 Euclid Avenue, representing Neighborhood Watch. This Saturday will be our last Saturday for Gratiot cleanup. It was supposed to be this past Saturday, but it rained. And it seemed like when we announced it before, we advertised that we were going to have coffee and donuts. Well, people showed up. So like Julius Caesar said, feed them and they'll come. So if you come Saturday, you get coffee, donuts, and apple cider. And it'll only take maybe the most, very most, maybe an hour. So we'd like to see everybody there. Even though it's a small area, it's just that the same people are showing up all the time. And this is a way to get the community together to let people know what we're doing here. Okay, and we provide the safety jackets. We don't have the pickers. We'll have gloves. Bring your own gloves. We don't have the gloves. So try to help us this Saturday. We'll meet at Gratiot, and I think it's Gallup. We'll be there on the corner. And Deanna will be serving apple cider and donuts.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dolores,
Thank
it's
you.
Canfield. You meet at Gratiot and Canfield.
Okay, anyone else? All right. Thank you. We have no administrative responses
Correct.
from previous meetings, so I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes of the prior city commission meeting.
Second.
Roll call?
Dempsey?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Menzer?
Yes.
Bunton?
Yes.
Okay, general business, 9A.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Wake up.
She didn't call my name.
Oh, didn't you?
I was waiting for her.
Okay. Are we re- Okay. General business, request city commission authorization to repair unsafe sidewalks. I need a motion.
I move to authorize and order the Director of Public Services to proceed with the repair of those sidewalks listed in the attached report, unless such repairs are performed by the property owner by September 27th, 2015.
Support.
Pursuant to Section 30.103 of the City Code, City Administration is requesting authorization to repair the unsafe sidewalks as identified in the attached report. The owners of all listed properties were sent 30-day notices on August 27th, 2015, directing them to repair the sidewalk flags that had been marked by the city. This authorization will allow the city to repair the sidewalks if not completed within 30 days, with the cost of repair charged to the property owner.
Comments, questions? Commissioner Button?
I guess I have a question. If it's a situation where a owner has some flagged concrete slabs and they have scheduled to have them repaired but have not had them repaired within that period of time, can they be exonerated from the fines or the process of going forward? If it's been scheduled?
Typically, it's a 30-day window, but I mean, our community development department works with homeowners in those kind of situations. So if we have a situation where they can demonstrate there's been progress, I'm sure that we could do some additional leeway in terms of time, as long as we can get something accomplished maybe before the contractor's out of town that's doing the work. So I would think that we would apply some common sense there and some cooperativeness with the homeowner and provide some extra time if need be.
Even if they're not using our own contractor, they could schedule it with somebody else and show you that it has been scheduled to be done, but yet not able to be done because the contractor himself is not able to get to it.
It'd be a judgment call for community development staff, basically.
Okay.
Would you remind us what the price is for the 4-inch and the 6-inch?
Yeah, we've made the price $165 per square, regardless of whether it's 4-inch or whether it's 6-inch. Just from an administrative standpoint, to make it easy to administer, to make it easy for residents to understand what the costs are going to be. The amount of flags that are in play here, overwhelmingly the 4-inch variety, there's only 10. It's about 5%, less than 5%, maybe in the neighborhood of 5, 6, 7% actually, I should say. That is the 6-inch flags as opposed to the 4-inch flags, which makes up the lion's share of the project.
So I'm looking at a couple of these. On Riverside, there are 2 homes that have 10 flags each, and there's one on Clinton for 11. That's a lot of flags. Is some of that tree disruption? And if it's tree disruption, the resident wouldn't be paying for that, would they?
Yeah, there's lots of instances where trees involved, and there's issues as to whether the tree's above or below the sidewalk, as to whether there's any activity that would be required of the city. But the city's going to come in and do root grinding on any trees that would be potentially damaging of any work that would be done on the sidewalk. So that would get scheduled. It does not provide any break from responsibility for the sidewalks.
Okay.
Commissioner Hill.
Does the 4-inch and 6-inch pertain to how thick the flags are, or what is
Right,
it?
6 inches of concrete are the slabs that are between the bottom and the top of the side of the driveway. So between the approach and the main driveway, those are going to be 6 inches because of the vehicles traversing those sidewalk squares are required to be 6 inches thick. The other sidewalk squares that are not involved in that kind of a driveway situation are 4-inch concrete slabs.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Campbell.
In light of the comment by a resident tonight, is there any rhyme or reason as to how these got picked? I mean, that should be addressed.
The rhyme or reason would be the most egregious or worse sidewalk squares in the city are the ones that were selected. So we started off with it's got to be at least greater than 2 inches, and the ones that were selected are the ones that were the worst of the worst, if you will. We do have, a limited amount of funds available, so it's not as if we're going to be able to address every sidewalk square that needs to be addressed in the city in a one-year fashion.
That's what I was going to add, is that we were limited in the number of flags that we're marking based on the funding that the city commission provided. And so obviously there are perhaps more egregious examples that are still out there that are not on this list because of that reason.
I think one of the other issues was that you wanted to get it throughout the city rather than concentrate in one neighborhood and leave other neighborhoods unmarked. So I think this is a random, I guess random is not the proper word, but anyway, this is a selection throughout the city as opposed to being in one particular neighborhood. I think we discussed that at one time too.
Correct.
I can attest to the fact that the city will come out and chop the tree roots, because I had someone approach me today. He had 4 or 5 flags that were marked, and some of it was due to the roots coming up, and the DPS did come out, chop the roots, and I think he's going to call because there's another one he wants to do. So if the roots are the problem, call DPS, and they will come out and chop those roots for you so that you don't have to do that.
I just want to say that as I've been walking around the city, I agree that they marked the worst of the worst. There are still some that are bad, but they're not as bad as the ones that were marked. It would be my hope that people would take some responsibility on their own and fix their sidewalks when they know that they're dangerous.
We've had a number on our street do their sidewalks.
Those
And
people right
volunteer, I
across.
mean, they did it on their own.
I've seen
volition.
some people voluntarily. do
And
it,
that was
that's
after a
good.
tree incident. That was a
Right.
tree that came down.
Tree that came down, so hopefully. But I do agree, there's more out there. I had someone come up and see me that's from the Eastman area. And she said she would be happy too to go around and mark them because there are a number of them in that area that are in bad shape. So we may really want to explore that a little bit more by
Yeah,
having.
absolutely. This was just a first step in evaluating this kind of attention to sidewalk issues in the city. And if we develop a more full-blown, i.e. higher funded program that would become a year in and year out situation, that's something that we consider next year in our budget process.
I guess another issue too is, I thought we said that this is the first round and then there would be another round that.
Correct. We started with $50,000 budgeted for efforts this year. And if you look at the number of squares involved, you do the math, the cost on the project that we have in front of us is about $32,000 and a little bit more than that, just over $32,000. That factors in that we're going to be getting reimbursement back from individuals that step up to the responsibility and pay those funds back to the city for the project costs or for the costs associated with the contractors' efforts. And then hopefully we would have at least the other $25,000, perhaps $25,000 and more to work with in the spring as well.
I have a question. Brian? Brian, what would preclude us from continuing the program in terms of, you've identified the ones that you've set the money aside, but why would we not continue just to enforce the ordinance? Go out and mark those others, because maybe those people themselves will step up and do something with their sidewalks.
Well,
And if not, you have a second list then that you can work off. But I think
Right.
some people will do it.
we don't want to be in a situation where we're marking sidewalk flags and then do not have the funds available to fix them in the event that the homeowners aren't paying.
Okay, but that would be then on a second list, is what I'm saying. But you at least identified them. And I think there's probably homeowners that if you identify, they're gonna go ahead and do it. That, I mean, that's just my thought process. I mean, then you can start your second list. So in spring, you're gonna be ready to go with the money you have, but that's just my thought. Take it under consideration.
Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner Rensser.
Would the city experience any liability if we marked a flag, it did, you know, as the mayor's saying, and it didn't get fixed, and it was a period of time, say 6 months or something, because we ran out of our 50 grand? Would that impact the city and its liability if somebody fell, or is that not an issue?
I think potentially, and that's something we would explore before we did, made that approach.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Why would be, it's a liability already.
Yeah.
Commissioner Button.
Yeah, but it could be an increased liability.
Would it be possible to have our inspector go along and throughout the city over the next few months and identify the houses that have the most grievous slabs or flags, and send them a notice that they do have a problem and that it may well be addressed in the spring if they don't do anything about it? I think marking them does put us in a position where we might be liable, or there might be a situation, even if we marked it and people looked at that and said, well, they marked mine, but they haven't done anything about it, and my 30 days are over, so, maybe I don't have to do anything. And so, I don't want to create that concept or possibility in their minds. But if we could have our city inspector go along and identify the houses that need the repairs, and then send them a letter and say, hey, you have a problem, and if you don't address it, then maybe we will, or however we want to word it. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to explore all possibilities. As the city manager mentioned, one of the things we're doing is trying to see what type of payback we're getting from this first round of sidewalk, repairs. And I think when we have a better understanding of that, that'll lead us in the direction of how much more we're able to take on.
Okay, any other further discussion? Roll call, please.
Hill.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes. 9B, approval of purchase and payments of invoices. Need a motion?
Move to approve the purchase and payments of invoices as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions? Commissioner Menser?
I'm looking at the bill for nickel and stop, and there are 2 equipment funds listed. I noticed that there are 2 different org codes, Maryland, but I was kind of, or through the mayor to Maryland, I was wondering what those were. Quite a difference in the pricing.
That's because every 3 years we have the pollution control liability, and this was the year for it.
Under
and we
equipment?
hadn't budgeted for water and sewer.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Menzer,
Yes.
Bunten,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call.
Bunten,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Menzer.
Yes.
City Manager's report.
Had a few things that I was going to cover with this week's report. Career opportunities with the city, just an update as to what the current status is on hiring processes that the city has in place. We've talked about it several times where we're hiring or advertising for finance director treasurer because of the impending retirement of Marilyn DeLugie, as well as a new human resources director and economic development specialist and a planner. We've set up a variety of committees to handle the interviewing responsibilities on those positions, and it was noted in this week's address that, or in this week's report, that we do have finance director interviews scheduled, and we had our first couple today. So we have started the process of going through those interviews and exciting opportunities to hire people for new duties and for existing duties at the city right now. Secondly, there's a mention of the State of the City address. Mayor Dempsey will be delivering the 2015 State of the City address on Friday, October 9th, 2015. The event is presented by the Macomb County Chamber. It is being held at Oakland University Macomb at 20 South Main in downtown Mount Clemens. Doors open at 7:30 a.m. with a breakfast thereafter, and the speech should begin at 8:15 a.m. It should be noted there is a $25 fee for members of the Macomb County Chamber or a $35 fee for non-members. If you're interested in attending, you can contact the Macomb County Chamber, Danielle Bear, at 586-493-7600. That's 493-7600. Or you can register by visiting the city website and clicking on the registration link, which is found in the announcements section of our homepage. Third item is an economic development survey, a little bit of information provided on SEMCOG activity. The Southeastern Michigan Council of Governments recently released results from a survey of Southeast Michigan residents regarding economic development in our region. There were a couple of takeaways that I thought were interesting and wanted to share with the mayor and commission as well as residents that might be watching the meeting or here in the audience. 83% feel that the economy is in better shape than in 2010, and vibrant central cities like the city of Mount Clemens were rated as the 3rd highest quality of life factor in terms of attracting and retaining employees. And something that might be considered obvious, success as a region is dependent on a variety of factors, and the interaction of these factors is important as well. It's encouraging because it bolsters a belief that we talk about here at various points in time that the area is on the bounce back and poised for a rebound. That seems to be bolstered by what other people are thinking in this survey as well. And again, it shows that people do understand that central cities like the city of Mount Clemens are important to the success of the region. Number 4, the process for filling a commission vacancy is something that we've talked about recent commission meetings. We had a executive session where it was discussed with the mayor and commission, and this information summarizes basically the outcome of those efforts to research what turned out to be a pretty complicated situation. And the facts are as follows. Commissioner Gary Blash submitted his resignation on July 27th, and it was accepted by the commission on August 3rd, 2015. The timing of that resignation drives the process for filling the vacancy. According to the following, the resignation occurred within 120 days of the next regular city election, which is to be held on November 3rd, 2015. City Charter Section 10.109 prohibits filling a vacancy by appointment if it does occur within 120 days of the next regular city election, as in this case. This means the commission cannot fill this vacancy by appointment before the November 3rd election. The intent of the charter was clearly that candidates would file petitions and run for such a vacant office at the next regular city election. again, November 3rd, 2015. However, there have been many changes in state election law which have occurred since the writing and adoption of the charter. Michigan compiled law 168.644E mandates that nominating petitions for all candidates for office be filed by 4 p.m. on the 15th Tuesday prior to the odd year election. This deadline for the November 3rd, 2015 election passed on July 21st, 2015. And again, the resignation was not received until July 27th, 2015. Therefore, that deadline was passed, and petitions to fill this vacancy would not meet the foregoing state requirement in order to be on the ballot for the November 3rd, 2015 election. Therefore, neither the commission nor would-be candidates can act before the November 3rd, 2015 election. After the November 3rd election, this commission can then act to fill the vacancy by appointment, since there will now be another next regular city election that will take place on November 7th, 2017, and that will be more than 120 days away. The filling of the vacancy by appointment would require a majority vote of the remaining commission members within 60 days. So, as I mentioned, it was kind of a complicated situation because of the timing of the resignation and some dated language that was in the charter, as well as just the standard language that was in the charter relating to the deadlines for when activity can occur. So the bottom line is nobody can file and run in the November 3rd election. The commission cannot act to appoint somebody before the November 3rd election, and therefore the appropriate action would be for the commission to undertake the process of appointing somebody to that vacancy after the November 3rd election.
Can you just...
In addition, if the commission cannot agree, then there would be a special election to fill the position.
And can you just explain that we will be taking applications, and how will you be advertising that?
Yeah, we'll do everything we can to get the word out on that. We basically will make a decision as to how we want to publicize that. We can have some internal discussion about that, but I would suggest that we'd probably want to take action to place it on the website, and perhaps in the Clemens Times newsletter, which will be just barely out for a while before that will be when the start of that process starts. So we'll do whatever we can to publicize that as much as possible, so we can get the greatest number of people that might be interested in filling that vacancy to bring their would-be candidacy, if you will, to the mayor and commission. So
but
anybody has any ideas on that front, we're happy to do it.
I would caution that we not do that until after November the 3rd.
Right.
Because technically the vacancy will not occur until after November the 3rd.
Right. And that's one of the things that I said we would have to work out some of the details on.
Okay. Any other questions for the city manager? Commissioner Menser?
City Manager Brown, I don't notice anything under career opportunities for the utilities director position.
Yeah, we had talked about that, and my timing on that, I think I might have told you that we were going to do that in September. I think that when I went back and looked at what we talked about and what the original game plan was, I think we were looking to do that at the end of September to allow for about a 90-day period for the F&V operations folks to have the responsibilities. So my intent is to put that together and put it out at the beginning of October.
Okay. And no statistics for August yet?
I did get them just today, so I'll provide that. You can have the information as early as you'd like, but I didn't have it ready for the commission agenda until it was provided today, and I didn't think I wanted to try to rush it. So okay. That'll be taken care of at the next meeting formally, and I can provide it in the meanwhile for anybody that's interested in seeing it in the meanwhile.
Okay, commissioner comments. Do you have to get your garbage out tonight?
I already put it out.
Oh, okay. We'll start with Commissioner Button then.
It was after 6:30 too. Actually, 6 o'clock.
Excellent. First, I'd like to remind the public that the Mount Clemens Community Coalition, well, let me back up first and apologize for last meeting. I told you that the drug take-back program would take place on the 29th, and it's not the 29th, it's the 26th. So, the Mount Clemens Community Coalition for Youth and Families and the USDA are having a community-wide drug take-back event this coming Saturday, September 26th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Old Wilson School located at 58 South Wilson, the corner of Church Street and Wilson in Mount Clemens. You are invited to bring your old and/or unwanted medicines in pill form to us for proper disposal. We cannot take needles, however, so if you have needle kind of things, we'll have to find another way of getting rid of those. Just remember also that if you flush them down the drain, they become a part of our water supply, and everyone is affected by them, even little babies. If you put them in the trash, they become a part of our landfill and thus become part of our ecosystem and what we eat. Please help our planet and our community by letting us and the United States Drug Administration properly dispose of your unwanted and or unused pills by bringing them to a Wilson school for proper disposal. Also, Walgreens will be on site to administer flu shots, and this is the season you want to try to take care of your flu shots to get immune to it, to diseases for the near future here, because the winter is about to come to us. And also, the Mount Clemens Schools Health Center will also be present with information about their program. So we hope to see you there if you can. I also have some flyers on the front banister here that if you would like to pass some of those out in your neighborhood to let the people know that this drug take-back program is coming up this weekend, you can definitely pick some of those up and pass them out in the neighborhood. I appreciate it if you would. For those who celebrate, have a blessed Yom Kippur, the Day of Atoning. That starts at sunset tomorrow. Also, the autumnal equinox, anyway, fall, starts also tomorrow. So both falling on the same day is a very unusual occurrence. The last time it happened was in 1901. So this could be a very, very special fall this year. And for those of you who prefer summer, well, I hope you enjoyed today and tomorrow. Anyway, moving on. Never complain about something that you have not already tried to correct yourself. And that's an unknown author. So with that, we'll say good night.
Thank you. Commissioner Menser.
Starting with my usual, where I've been in the city. I've been to Bath City Bistro a couple times. I went to Paperback Writers. I want you to know that that bookstore will put authors on hold for you. Not only authors, but specific books. And when it comes in, they'll call you and tell you that it's there. Three Blind Mice and Metro Technology Services in the Viscount building, where we also enjoyed Carry Out from Your Mothers. I wanted to, Ms. Weiss talked about the Oktoberfest. I played euchre in that Oktoberfest last year with some friends of mine, and we had an excellent time. We had fun playing. It was a great group, great people. The Lions Club certainly could use the help. So I would encourage you to register at 6 o'clock with play beginning at 7. It was a lot of fun. So I also would like to give a shout out to two people. Mr. Grady Jones and his beautiful wife on Fessenden. I want to thank him for his kind words, and I want to point out that he is a vigilant attendant of the activities that go on in his neighborhood. So thank you for talking to me, Mr. Jones. It was wonderful. And also Nancy Donahue, I hope you're feeling better. I'm sure Mayor Dempsey has seen her, but Nancy's on several committees and has done a lot for the city. She's been recovering at home after a lengthy hospital stay. So get well, Nancy, come on back. And that's my comments for tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill.
I just want to say that while some people may be frustrated that the sidewalk program isn't a bigger program than it is, I am relieved and happy that we are started with it anyway. It's a good start, and hopefully it will keep going until we have safe sidewalks in the city of Mount Clemens. Other than that, have a great evening and a good week.
Thank you. Commissioner Campbell.
Last week I talked about some properties that are seen as the entrance and exit ways to the city. I saw that the couch is off the front porch of the one house. I was just wondering that at the next meeting we could have a timetable as to how they will be addressed, the other properties. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, just a couple things. A reminder that the Terra Grant Walk is October 3rd, and it is at Freedom Hill. I brought that up at the last meeting, but just a reminder. If anybody's interested, they can call Turning Point to support that. Turning Point is also, October is Domestic Violence Month. That's why we're wearing our little blue or purple, to make everyone aware of the domestic violence that goes on in our community. And Turning Point is working with a number of various charities and other groups to bring awareness. And they are having a Stepping Out with the Stars on October 23rd at Villa Penas, which is on Hayes. And there's a number of people in our community who are, quote, the stars dancing. That would be fun to watch. Bob Cannon from Clinton Township is one of the individuals that will be in it, Dr. Pesta from McLaren. So if anybody's interested, again, they can contact Turning Point if you'd like to support them. And don't forget the parade. I have to say this every meeting, so we all know it's on a Saturday, November 21st, and we're getting great responses. We're getting a lot of people who have never participated, so I'm really excited about that. And we are still looking for volunteers. Always can use volunteers. Please contact the city, contact me. And I hope that everybody at least can participate or come out and be part of it. So we're excited about that. And with that, I think that's it. Oktoberfest, come down to the Oktoberfest. I'll be manning the Bavarian store, so come on down and purchase a few things. But with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Menzer.
Yes.
Bunting.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.